Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to the progress report for August 2022. This is where I talk about how it's been going writing with the 8 pens and 8 inks that I have for this month. As I'm filming this, it's August 17th, so I kind of went a little past the midway point of the month, but I think it's okay. It's just life happening. What I've been writing with this month are 8 of the Pilot Iroshizuku inks. So that's been interesting. Very, very interesting to kind of level that playing field with the similar inks. They're not all identical in color or in flow, but they're very close. So I've really been having a good time. And it looks to me like, let's see, quick peek over here. Yeah, it's all A's and B's, but there are a few things to talk about. So I'll save the report card for last, and we'll just start flipping through the inks, the samples, and then I also have some on CVS caliber. So let's see, first up is over here on this side is the Opus 88 Mini with Pilot Iroshizuku. I don't think I should be allowed to pronounce these inks because I don't know how, but this is the name, and it's a beautiful teal to me. It's got some complexity, and it's pretty, and I see shading, and it's very smooth, and this broad nib in this Opus 88 Mini is perfect for it. So it's up there in the top 3, so I really enjoyed writing with this. Let's see, and I've got to kind of move aside so you can see the chromatography. I did one, I think, on each one of these. I don't know. I wouldn't hold me to any kind of standard just at the moment, but I really like this ink. It's pretty, and it is a sample. It'll probably soon be, no, I've got about 2 mils left of that, so it must have been a larger sample. This is just, you know, writing. It's available still. In fact, it was shown as sale price at Van Ness. So it comes out to about 45 cents a mil for the 50 mil bottle. But I do like this very much. Yeah, it doesn't wow me like a really bright purple does, but I love it. So next up is the Jinhao 100 in the koi. And I love this pen. I'm just about, though, to put a broad nib on it. I haven't done it yet because I thought I should give the month, you know, give it the month to write with this. There's nothing wrong with this stock nib. And it could just be my, it could be a mental bias, but it feels to me like the gold colored ones, I have 3 of them in my Jinhao collection that are gold nib, well, they're not gold nibs, no, but they're colored gold, and they seem to have more tipping on them. And that just could be a perception of mine, but I really like this. It's a medium stock nib. I made the mistake last time of saying it was a broad, but it is a medium. And this is this beautiful pink Bishamonten. Probably not saying that right either, but it has a few letters that I can at least attempt to pronounce. So, it has a little bit of feedback because I've done nothing to the nib yet, and I don't plan to just yet. I want to try a few other inks before I ever do nib work. But this is a flowy ink. It should probably be as good as it's going to get with this ink, I think. And my thought is just to test it out after the month is over with a broad nib, because that would then give me a lot of options for my red and pink inks. So I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, we'll look at the final sort of grades at the end, I think. Okay, and then next up, oh, it says cloudy but no rain. Well, we did end up having rain this past weekend, finally. Oh, thank goodness. And I'm not sure why this made me think of rain, but it did. I guess because of the green. This is the ZenZoi bamboo with a fine nib. And I think the nib needs a little bit of work to be okay for me, which is a dilemma, because if I don't keep it, then it'd probably be best to leave it as it is. Still kind of thinking that over. I did try the brass shims and the thumb technique to open up the tines slightly. That I don't, what I'm talking about is I didn't do any smoothing. But I definitely saw that it was extremely, no slit could be seen there. And I do like to know that I'm going to get a little better ink flow. So it improved it a little. I think I could probably do more. And again, this one, oh, I didn't tell you on that, the 100th anniversary one, the one I just did, I couldn't find it anywhere. That doesn't mean it's not somewhere, like on eBay, but I couldn't find it. It's probably already been, it was limited edition. But this one, the Shin, you can probably say it better than me. This one was available right at Van S. Again, at the time that I checked, it was $22.50 for 50 mils. And you could get a sample. So this is a pretty green. It's really nice, and it lifts nicely with a water brush, which I enjoy. And other than the fact that I do think that if I'm going to keep this pen, I'm going to want it a little smoother. Some people like a little bit of feedback, though, and feedback doesn't bother me like it used to, but I still notice it. Okay, next up was the Jinhao X450. And I've been really super impressed with this. I wanted to see how much I have left. I've been writing letters, so see how much. I had a feeling that it was almost empty because of the fact that I seem to pick this one up, if not first, then maybe second, for letter writing. And it's got the Kon-Peki, Pilot Iroshizuku Kon-Peki with a nice broad ZenZoi nib. And I really like this nib. In fact, it's probably my favorite broad nib that I have here. And this pen surprised me. No leaks, no blurps, no problems whatsoever. I'm remembering something, so one of them has a surprise lurking for me, but thank goodness not this one. I wrote down that I have purchased a 50 ml bottle. Last year, I purchased a bottle of this ink. I felt like it was a standard to have for myself and to write with, and I like it a lot. I have nothing but good things to say about this ink and nib combination. Okay, so some of this I was doing a while back. I just haven't gotten around to the video. And I was already giving it an A+ here. So, you know, it's just a beautiful blue. I'm not sure what the camera's doing to it. It does kind of change it just a little bit, but this is one that most people are familiar with. And I love it. I love that combination. Okay, and then next up is the TWSBI Vac700R Iris with a broad nib, and the Pilot Iroshizuku Asa-gao. Okay, this is a beautiful blue. It's brighter than I thought it was going to be, and the camera kind of makes it brighter too. I actually thought this was going to be darker, but I found it to be brighter than my expectation, and I like it. I do like it. I think originally I was supposed to put this color in. It's what I was thinking of doing, but I switched them. Okay. Oh, I was all about, this is when I got my digital copy of the new Elvis movie. I was all excited about that. And I was trying to do the lettering, but it didn't come out the way I wanted. At least you can read it. Okay, so it's just a really smooth ink. They all are. It's almost like I said, you kind of level things. You know that it's a reliable ink when it's a Pilot ink, and I don't have to really think about that too much. And I've been reaching for this one too. I really like it. You know, I've been writing letters and journaling. Those are the two things primarily. I haven't taken as many notes. I've actually been rereading the 2-book Elvis biography, Last Train to Memphis, and then I swore I would never reread Careless Love, because if you read it from beginning to end, you might have to have help after, because it's so sad. So I keep that second book more as a I wanted it in my library as a reference, because this biographer that wrote that set, I trust him, and I can see that he really did an awful lot of research. And there's so many opinions and so many different perspectives on Elvis, but I love Elvis, and that's the way it is. Okay, next up is the Pen BBS 308, the purple cloud, I think it is, but this is really nice. This surprised me again, that I thought, well, it is a fine nib, but not all the inks do so well in this pen as the Pilot ink. So I've been really pleasantly surprised that even though it's a fine nib, I'm really happy with it. With the Yama-Budo, Pilot Iroshizuku Yama-Budo. And now it makes me want to put, you know, ink this up another time with a broad nib again, because I do love the broad nib and this ink. It's really pretty. And then the little drawing here is an excitement to me, because on August 26th, that's next Friday from where I'm sitting right now, but 2022, you may be seeing this in the future, then Rickshaw is coming out with kind of an updated Sinclair, and so it appears it's a collaboration with Nock, and it's going to be a little thicker. This is my my original, whoops, it's got cat here, my original Nock Sinclair, and I'm going to put my pens in it after we finish, and I'll show you, but I usually get about 9 in here, depending on how thick they are and everything. So apparently it's going to have a little bit more thickness and capacity, an inch or so, and it's going to be made with the rickshaw koozies in mind, and oh, I'm excited. Saving up my money because I really would like to have one, and this pen case is one that I go back to over and over, the same way I do my 8 pen koozie roll from Rickshaw. So it's always been, for me, it's always been Nock and Rickshaw that really take care of, you know, 95% of my pen sleeve and roll and case needs. So I'm excited about it. This is not an advertisement. I'm not sponsored or anything. I'm just one of their good customers. I can't say best because I don't have that kind of money, but I definitely love their things. And you know what I love the best is if you want something and you're on a budget, or you want something and you're not on a budget, but you can almost always manage to order it, because it's not like they make, you know, 3 and then they sell out, or they make 30 and then they sell out. It's made to order in terms of you ordering on their website. I don't know, you know, obviously in a pen show, whatever they bring is what they have. So all the purple might sell and so on. But I never feel like I'm going to be left out. I feel that if I want it bad enough, then I'll save for it. I'll get it when I can. So that's really a happy thing. And this pen BBS, I did a little bit of nib work on it a long time ago, but that's because I pretty much take away feedback back then. I don't do that as quickly anymore. I wait and see how the different inks are going to work. But this is a really pretty ink that I love, and it's highly available. It's one of those that you can get, along with this one, this little... this is the bottle that this came out of. So, I talked so long about the pen case, I don't know where I am. Okay, I got 2 more pens. The little Parker Vector that said France. My other Parker Vector is a USA made with a medium nib. And this gorgeous Pilot Iroshizuku Syo-ro 100th anniversary. Extremely hard to find, maybe impossible to find. And we're going to look at just a couple more inks, because I had someone ask about this, about, well, what looks just like it, and apparently I don't go in for the lighter kind of lavender colors as much. I go much more for the bright purples, so I don't have very many, but let's just do that now. I wanted to show that the difference between Pilot Iroshizuku Jirojin and Murasaki is in brightness mainly, but this is one of my lighter purples. I'm really for the like Mont Blanc Psychedelic Purple, TWSBI Purple, Pop Art Purple by Birmingham, and even darker purples too, but for bright purple I like Murasaki Purple by yeah, Murasaki Purple. Anyway, and then I do have a few, but this was the only one that I thought, This, you know, Robert Oster Muddy Crown is darker and different, but it did sort of remind me, but oh no, we're in a different ballpark. So these were the 3 that were closest, and I felt like my collection just doesn't have anything like this, but I know people do have. I didn't want to go all the way down to like, there's one that's, a Vinta mascara or something, but it's so light and it wouldn't have the visibility. This has good readability. It really does. But being that it was limited edition and we can't get it, if you know of any ink that would come closer to this and not be, because I've got several lavenders that are really bright, but they're too bright for anybody who really loves this. So this was my sample in Robert Oster Muddy Crown. I did ink up the Parker Vector, the red one, with a medium, so they'd have the same nibs. And then this is the one right here that's all the limited edition one, the Georgian. And this, you know, this felt a little bit drier after writing with a broad nib, but this is a really nice, these Parker nibs, the medium, are nice. I like them a lot. And it depends on your paper too. So when I went over onto CVS Caliber, I wasn't as happy. I put not on, or on this paper, no, I said, because it lightens up. It feels a little chalky and dry, which I know the ink is not dry. So, I mean, that's just for what it's worth. I'm fussy, picky, and everything. So, it's probably more me than anything. Let's see. I'll put these two away and save this one. Okay, so last but not least was the Lamy 2000 with a broad nib. And I love this combination. This is great. This is the Fuyu Shogun. Did I get that right? Oh, I was thinking of another ink that someone else mentioned yesterday, the Fuyu Gaki. That was Marilyn's video. So it is, I think I have it right. Yeah, I do. It's a complex gray. It's warm. It's pretty. And in this broad nib, you get everything, I think. You really get a nice display. Flow, color, complexity, A+. I really like it. So this is definitely one ink that I will put in this pen again. And probably I could put any of these. I mean, I can say that real confidently. Anything that I'm really wanting to write with this pen out of the Pilot line, I think it would go really well. Let's see. Combination is fantastic. I like it for letter writing. Oh, in order to use for note taking, I'd rather use a medium. Yes, this is a very broad. It's a wide broad. So to me, it's like a really super polished stub nib, but there's other nibs I've never tried that probably actually capture what it really is, but it's nice. And with this ink, I was totally happy with it. So let's go back and see. I like how it makes me feel to talk about inks and pens because there's been a lot of stress lately, so I am really happy that I can get enthusiastic even enough to do this video. So here we are. So the first one, the little mini, I gave it an A, and I said, super nice match for the Opus 88 holiday pen, and I made little hearts and said flow and color. So yeah, this is really nice. And I have used this one for note taking. This isn't such a wide, broad nib that I, well, you can kind of see, there's a big difference. The Lamy 2000 broad is super broad. And then next, the Jinhao 100, I gave that an A. I said beautiful pen and ink. Medium stock nib came with it, is smooth and reliable. Try a broad JoWo. Okay, this was my mistake last time. I actually think that I must have felt like I was writing with a broad nib. It is a juicy nib and a juicy ink. So what a nice thing for like $20. Good grief. That was really a good deal. Okay, so next is the little bamboo pen, the ZenZoi bamboo fine nib. I kind of dinged it. B- needs nib work to increase ink flow or a nib change. Yeah, that's true. But I hate to do that when I know I can probably open it up just a little more and do some smoothing just to take away a little feedback. Depends on whether I'm going to keep it though. We'll see. Okay, next up is the Jinhao X450, which, oh, A+. Just, I feel like refilling it, but we're getting awfully close to September. And I know that there are other combinations I want to try too, so I'll probably just write it dry. And it's just a wow. It's hard to believe because at the time I bought this, it would have been like $5. And even with changing the nib, which I just switched from one of the Serendipity pens. So that was a sunk cost anyway. I didn't go buy a special nib for this. I love it. The Kon-Peki is a beautiful ink. Okay, and then next up, TWSBI Vac700R with a broad nib and the Asa-gao. A+ excellent. Not necessarily a color match for the pen I wrote. Wow, that's a rainbow. So it's just me with my purple. I usually use purple, magenta, teal, something like that in it. But it's awesome. You just can't go wrong with that. Okay, then next up, the Pen BBS 308. When I did this page, it burped. But it may have been because I didn't completely, take care of the feed when I filled it. Or it could have been something weird because I never, this month, and like I said, today's the 17th, I've not once had another burp, and I've put it to the test. So it says, no more ink burping, beautiful pen, the nib is fine. Otherwise, this would be an A. Now that is being overly biased. It probably should have got an A. Today it gets an A because, I just got done telling you how good it is. So I get to do whatever I want when it comes to the pens and inks. That's about all. Okay. Next up, Parker Vector in the medium with the limited 100th anniversary Pilot Iroshizuku. I put A, good combo. I do prefer darker purples. This is lavender. Ink is not available. Okay, so yeah, but this is a nice way to use these samples and enjoy them and finish them. I've actually got enough though to put that in a broad nib sometime, and that would be really nice. I would use up the ink so fast if it was in a, like in the Lamy 2000 or even my one of my TWSBI broads. So last but not least is another A+. So we had 3 A+. Oh my goodness. Isn't that something? 3 A+, and then down here I completely veer off the edge of it. I'll show you that in a minute. Lamy 2000 broad with the Old Man Winter. And I put excellent. This gray ink is perfect for the broad nib. And it is. I like it a lot. It showcases the ink really well, and it's dark enough. The readability is excellent. I'm just noticing how funny that is, though. Okay. I left off this one in my top favorites. This one got left off, even though it had an A+. And I would imagine that's for color. I'll bet you anything it has to do with it being blue. When I started with a little cartridge pen when I was like 16 or 15, that's pretty much the only color. It was right in there, between, it was just blue, blue, blue. That was it. So it could be that. So first place went to the X450 and the Kon-Peki, and then second place went to the Lamy 2000 broad with the Old Man Winter. And third, which I added because I just couldn't stand it, I found myself reaching for this one more and more. I think it's the smoothness of the writing and how this gets along. The color's really nice for note-taking and for lots of things. So there we have it. That's how it came out. Reaching for this so much it's almost dry, and then just really enjoying what the ink looks like in the Lamy. And then this, I just think, let's see, how much have I used? Oh, it's almost impossible to see, but it looks like I've used maybe almost half. Written with it a lot. It's just so cute. It really is. My checkered black and white one is also a broad nib, but they can be changed really easily if I decide to use a medium. Okay, so let's see, 24 minutes. Okay. The only thing left here was to, for a minute, talk about the CVS caliber, because just in case you're using paper from Vietnam, like I do, I found that 3 of these went okay. The broad JoWo nib, because I really do feel like it's the nib and ink, of course. That was nice and smooth on the paper. And then the TWSBI Vac700 with a broad nib and Asa-gao, that was also smooth and a good experience. And then the best, though, was the Lamy 2000 broad, which surprised me. I thought maybe being a gold nib, it might not like the paper or something, but it was great. It didn't drag. It was nice and smooth. And then we had, let's see, a lot of feedback with the little bamboo pen. I would just say okay with that one too. Let's see if I can just line them up so they make sense. And I put good on the Pen BBS. I really haven't been using this paper as much though, because I've taken fewer notes. I was just reading through, on my like third book on Elvis this month, or well, I started in July, so. And I haven't been taking notes. It's more as a tribute, kind of a memory reading, and I've read, most of the books I've already read. I just wanted to see what it felt like several years later to read, and also explore the music too, because that's something that helps a lot, to listen to music. Now I'm completely lost. I have all these little alleys in my brain where I get lost. Not on this paper. So this is the only one that got that rating. It's a lighter lavender. It's probably shade, and also the nib may be just a little bit drier. And I don't think I'd change it, because I think on my letter writing paper I haven't had any trouble. I wouldn't do any kind of tinkering with that nib. So that's it. It's been going really well, and I'm thinking about September, and just sort of wondering what I'll do for September. I'm actually thinking about another 8 pens and 8 inks from the same brand, ink brand, because I liked this a lot. And it doesn't mean that I don't run around occasionally inking up something else. Let's see. I got the example of that right here. I did 2 Lamys. I put Lexington Gray in the Lamy fine nib, or no, extra fine nib for my bullet journaling. I don't really count this because this is all going in my bullet journal and journal. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I also put Diatramentis Alexander Hamilton. It did feel kind of like cheating to pick different brand inks with a fine nib. But I found that I didn't want to be dragging these over. I wanted to be writing letters with the 8 primary ones. And then I put something in here. I don't remember what, without looking up. And I don't think I'm happy with it. Let's see. Well, I started with Black Swan and Australian Roses, but I didn't like it, and then I put something else. It's okay. It's somewhere in this house, my little booklet that tells me. But other than that, that's all I have inked up, because I've been pretty good. So I'd love to hear about what you have inked up. And also, you can look forward. I'm going to do a first impressions on a new dip pen. I'll just leave it at that. It'll be a mystery other than that. And that should be coming soon. Sorry for the delay on this video. I can't actually really talk about it, but I've got a sick kitty. And so it's like, yeah, he's the priority right now. And I'm going to leave it at that right now, because I actually just can't talk about it. So I will talk to you later. And thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.